Hello everyone and welcome to Afterbite. It's a Vampire Diaries fan cast. It's only 10 years too late. We're here, we're back. Episode 310, The New Deal. We're back to episode names that start with the, but I think this is a good one actually.
Yeah.
Me too. I agree. It's not like vague like the other ones, you know?
This one is The New Deal, which
it feels
is a
like
thing that happened.
It feels intentional.
Exactly. In case you forgot, last time was buck wild.
Yeah, crazy.
Last episode of Homecoming was a wild time. And so this comes right after sort of their mid-season break.
Yep, we're in 2012 now.
We're in 2012. We're only 8 years too late with this episode, actually. So really, maybe we're thriving.
Yeah. Also, remember, in 2012, the world ended, in case y'all forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I did forget.
How could you forget? We were there.
I'm sorry. I died, and it's just like, I blocked it out of my head.
Also, fun fact, this is the year I graduated high school.
This is the year I started high school.
Shut up.
Do you think, here's the question. Is all this stuff like because they had a homecoming dance, right? Right before this. So it might still be the weekend. Do you think that all the stuff that's occurring in every episode happens on the weekend? It just magically
definitely
falls
can't.
On the weekend? Or they're just skipping a lot of school?
No. How all this happens, this can't just be happening on weekends or Friday nights.
Exactly, like it can't.
So they're just skipping. They're just straight up like skip. They're like slackers in their school.
Well, that's why they only have 2 brain cells between all of them.
It makes so much
But also,
more sense.
Elena becomes a doctor.
How? Actually, you know what? Let's not say how, because maybe she picked it up in college. You know? You can do that.
She didn't. She did not.
Both of you assume they went to college.
Okay, so
going to college is a nice way to put that.
Oh, okay, so I was wrong.
Yeah, you'll find out. Season 5.
You'll see. Season 5.
All right.
So the Netflix description for this episode is Klaus uses violence to convince Damon and Elena that no one will be safe until he finds Stefan and gets his family back.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is what happened.
That's what
correct. I like how whenever the Vampire Diaries Netflix description writer does something good, we're always like, hey, good job.
Yeah.
Gold
good
star,
job.
But when you do a bad one, you get a frowny face.
You get
we
more than
absolutely
a
dunk on them when they do a bad job. But when they do a good one, we're like, okay, cool.
I love our relationship with the Netflix description writer, and I really just want to meet them. Like, I
calling it a relationship
is
is generous. We yell into the void. Maybe one day they'll hear us.
I really hope they do hear us. You know, I feel like this is like important feedback.
This episode opens up with Bonnie in a dream. She is in the witch house. I think we've seen it once this season already.
Yeah.
Remember where a bunch of witches were slaughtered? It's
alive.
this fun, delightful house.
I couldn't place it. I was like, I recognize this place, but also where are we?
We just had an episode a few episodes ago.
Yeah, the Ghost World.
My brain has a short-term. I have bad
Ghost World though.
I have bad short-term memory. Okay,
Bonnie's like in a dream and just sort of walking through this house, hearing voices drawing her towards the basement. As she enters the basement, she sees the coffins of the Michelson family, 4 of them. She walks towards the furthest one away, and as she opens it, she finds Klaus inside holding the original witch's necklace. And as she reaches out to touch him, she wakes up.
It was all a dream, Inception.
So I don't know the plot of Inception, but I don't think this is it.
Do you want a fun little tidbit? No one knows the plot of Inception. Not even Christopher Nolan knows.
It's one of those pop culture things where it's like, oh, it's so cool because we don't understand it.
Yeah. All I know is Ellen Page is in it, and Ellen Page is amazing.
I love her.
And Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm okay about him.
Elena is out for her morning jog. She's a fit girl now. Don't you remember? She's had a whole lifestyle change. trying to become a badass vampire hunter.
This scene, I was like, this feels like
a horror movie.
No, not originally.
I was expecting her to say that.
In the beginning, I was like, because of the music, I was like, this feels like a rom-com. It feels like
the beginning music. Okay.
It feels like the opening credits to a movie. You know what I mean? Or like a sitcom set in a small town. And then it quickly turned into a horror movie, like a little thriller. And I like that switch.
As she is doing her run, she kind of stops, she times herself, and she looks behind her, and there's a man in a hood following after her. She starts running, tries to outrun him, but he keeps following her, getting faster and faster, which, by the way, Elena's pretty quick here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very happy for her.
She's really improving in that fitness realm.
She is. As she continues to run, she takes a few turns here, hoping to lose him, and she eventually does. And so she, like, takes a moment to take her breath. But then she turns around, and he's right there. Like, directly behind, like, in her fucking face.
That was so good.
And he's like, oh man, sorry, I guess I should watch where I'm going. And then he runs away. And you're like, are you good? The answer is no.
They did that so well.
You can tell that Kevin Williamson is a horror guy, huh?
Yeah.
I know this episode wasn't written by him, but like...
Michael Narducci.
That really reminds me of that one scene from Halloween. There's a scene very similar to this in the original... I think it's the original Halloween movie.
Oh, okay.
I think... It's something like that. The original one that has Mask Man. What's his name? Michael Myers? Mask Boy.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
Who cares? At the Mystic Grill, Elena and Bonnie are having a chat about how Klaus has yet to make a move against them. And Bonnie tells Elena about the dreams that she's been having. And Elena's like, this could be a witch dream. Which, yeah, no shit. Bonnie's a witch, so any dream she has is technically a witch dream, Elena. Thanks for catching up with the rest of us here.
I also love how this is just another use of Bonnie flex tape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this feels very much like, I don't remember if it was season 1 or 2, but when Bonnie touched that person and then she like had a vision, it's like, oh, this is very blatant, huh? No room for like trying to like make it more subtle, just right on the nose.
That was, yeah, I think you're talking about season 2, where she touched that other witch and was like, oh shit, there's another witch.
Yeah.
They have a fresh new roll of Bennett flex tape, and they're going to use it heavily in the second part of this season.
Mm-hmm.
They got a whole fresh new roll, just unwrapped it and everything, and they are here to flex tape the shit out of this. So Elena also says that she has given up on Stefan. Rip. Bonnie asks how Damon's handling the whole thing, and then you cut to Damon and Alaric at the bar, and Damon's trying to make brunch drinks.
Not brunch, drinks.
They're brunch drinks. They're drinks that you get with brunch, so that you can get really day drunk, which is what he does. Alaric is also there refusing to drink as he waits for Jeremy to show up for his shift, and he's sort of like worried that something's happening to Jeremy. The bartender at the grill, who is Justine, tells... Yeah. It's a weird... Hey man, 2012 is a weird time. So why the fuck not? Well, you know, Justine exists in the Vampire Diaries universe now, canonically, so why the fuck not?
Yep.
But she tells the boys that Jeremy was actually fired from his job at the grill. Yikes, Jer. Tyler and Jeremy are in the woods. They're having like a bro hang where they're drinking beer at, again, it's like probably 10, 11 a.m. in the morning at this point. Mm-hmm. They're drinking beer and having crossbow. Like they're shooting shit with a crossbow.
That's just like not a good combination.
No.
Who drinks beer at like 11 a.m. and doesn't hate their life?
They do hate their lives though.
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
So Jeremy's about to shoot an arrow at some cans, and Tyler just like is right to the side, and Jeremy's like, "You should move the fuck over, dude. I don't want to hit you." And Tyler's like, "I don't fucking give a shit about that crossbow. The only way to kill a hybrid is by chopping off the head or ripping out their heart." And then Jeremy shoots an arrow, and Tyler catches it in his hand, which is some cool shit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's some cool shit.
It's like, bah.
It's just very action movie-esque, and I love it.
Yeah.
The werewolves and the hybrids are always in some weird action movie, while everybody else is in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Everybody else is in Halloween from the 1970s, and these guys are just in a very fun action thriller. Damon is playing darts at the grill, which is probably not the best thing to do while you're day drunk, but he's doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Elena's trying to track down Jeremy to figure out what's going on, and Damon's like, he's just a teenage boy. You know, boys are just like that sometimes.
Boys will be boys.
No.
But also, most boys don't just randomly quit their jobs and move away from their families and hang out with hybrids, but, you know, boys.
Yeah.
And also, Jeremy does still see ghosts and has lost everybody he cares about.
Yeah,
so
really sad.
That could be fun.
So
a fun therapy session waiting to happen.
Exactly. At the Mystic Grill, though, Klaus shows up, and we meet Tony, the hybrid from, I think it was North Dakota.
One of those.
Nothing good ever comes out of North Dakota.
Tony did.
No, that's my point, Brian.
Okay.
That's the goof.
Oh.
Klaus is asking where Rebecca is, and they're sort of covering it up and not giving him an answer. And Klaus says that he's wanting to make Mystic Falls his home, and that everyone can continue to live their happy lives as long as they give him what he wants. And what he wants is Stefan. And Damon and Elena obviously don't know where he is, but Klaus reveals to them that Stefan stole something from him.
Dun, dun, dun.
What did he steal?
We know, Brian, family.
I'm joking.
So now, in real life, Bonnie shows up again at the witch house.
Yeah.
This is not a dream. It looks the exact same as the dream sequence, though, so it really faked you out here. So Bonnie walks down towards the basement, again following the whispers, but when she gets down there, there's nothing except for Stefan.
A great thing to find, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, better than creepy witch whispers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I find it so interesting how the witches literally cut off anything with Bonnie, but the moment they need her, and that
they're like, "Hey, hey, girl."
Like, hey, no, we know that we had a fight, but
they're like, but you've broken up with Jeremy now, so maybe we can trust you again.
It's the witches in their relationship with Bonnie is like a really toxic former best friend. And they like keep trying to hit you up again. They're like, "Hey, what's up? I'm going to this party this weekend. Do you want to like come with?" The answer is no, never. You don't. Because if you do, you will fall into a trap again.
And die.
Basically, Stefan just tells her that the Michelson family is Klaus's weakness. So he needs her help to hide them. Bonnie's like, "I don't have enough power to hide 4 original vampires." And Stefan tells her that she's a witch who hates Klaus. They're surrounded by witches who hate Klaus. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Fair.
You know how, like, we make fun of Damon for not knowing how magic works a lot of the time?
Yeah.
And, like, how he was impressed that Bonnie could, like, pull a book off of a bookshelf. And he just tells her to, like, figure it out a bunch.
Yeah.
Stefan's doing that same thing here. Where he's just like, you're a witch, there's other witches, yeah, figure it out. Like, hey lads, hey boys, that's not how that works, bud.
I just think it's so funny. Cause like
They at least give her a fruit basket. Like, come on.
like
a good edible arrangement.
Like, just because you hate someone doesn't mean you know how to like hide their entire family, but also the fact that they're like have to like hide these 4 coffins, and for some reason because they're originals it makes it harder to hide them.
I think the more pertinent issue is that there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
I think it's just a numbers game.
Okay. But imagine like someone coming up to you saying like, "Hey, I have these 4 coffins. I need you to hide them for me. Just
Those
like
bitches are
real
going right in
quick."
the ocean at that point.
Hide them in a funeral home. There's
That's
a whole
so
bunch of
good.
coffins.
Oh,
That's
that's
so good.
smart. I didn't think about that.
But no, they
Being
gotta
smart
figure out a
takes some
magical.
hard work.
Hey, Jordan, are we sure that Bee hasn't hidden a few coffins in her life?
Don't question me. Don't question me. Alaric and Elena they're hosting an intervention.
Yay!
But it's with lunch, so it's okay. They're trying to like get Jeremy and sit him down and find out what's going on. And Jeremy comes into the house and he's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm just here to grab some," and then leaving. And Elena's like, "Hey, we know that you were fired from your job. Can you sit the fuck down and talk to us for a minute?" And Jeremy's like, no, I got plans with Tyler. He's like right outside. And Elena and Alaric get a little worried there because Tyler's sired to Klaus, the bad guy.
Yeah.
And Elena like puts her foot down to try and keep Tyler away from Jeremy. Jeremy invites Tyler inside for lunch. So this won't be awkward at all.
Yeah, this will be great.
The sad part is they're looking out for him. They have his best interests at heart, but he doesn't want to listen.
I know. He's a teenage boy.
Yeah.
So Elena and Alaric sort of take this opportunity in stride to try and figure out how the sire bond works. And Tyler's like, well, compulsion is just mind control, right? But a sire bond is like faith. Which he does not back up the sire bond is like faith statement with anything that makes sense. He's like, Klaus freed me from my werewolf curse and now I owe him. Hey, owing somebody isn't faith, but I appreciate the effort you made there. And then he's like, well, if Tyler, if Alaric, or God fucking damn it, Alaric asks him if Klaus would tell Tyler to jump off of a bridge if he would do it. And Tyler's like, I mean, he wouldn't, but yeah. And then Elena's like, well, what if Klaus asked you to rip your own heart out? Would you do it? Klaus is like, well, Tyler's like, well, Klaus wouldn't, but if he did ask me to, I guess I'd rip my fucking heart out.
And at that point you realize,
It's
oh,
scary.
Tyler's that's scary. That's sweet. That's not good. And then I was like, is this a cult metaphor?
Is it a cult metaphor? I think it might kind of be a cult metaphor.
And the word cult is mentioned later on in this episode. So I just think sire is like cult. Just like, because like, think about it.
I mean, yeah, no, I absolutely get where you're going from. But it's weird that they have him say that like a sire bond is like faith, but then they don't back that up with anything that even vaguely resembles faith. Like,
well, like I feel like
it resembles fucking Jonestown or some shit,
But I feel like there's like that is the thing about fate, right? There is no way to explain it. You just have it. So like, I mean, like even like the way I took it was that Tyler was like trying to explain this like fate, but there was no way to explain it. It just existed.
Yeah, okay, fair. It's just wild. They're just setting it up to be like a fucking Jonestown type thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely is like that.
So Tyler obviously is blindly loyal to Klaus, and that's why nobody can trust him anymore. And Tyler's like, no, I can still make my own choices. I don't think you can, Tyler.
No.
Hey, Ty. I don't think you can.
Tyler's gone, and it's sad. He died. Rip in peace.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Tyler Lockwood.
It's like, it's so, like, I think I really like this scene because you see how like crazy Tyler has become, or not crazy, but like how committed to um I'm gonna say the name wrong.
Klaus.
Klaus. How committed to Klaus he is, you know? Like it's just the way that they like I guess shoot the scene where like it keeps getting like all these like close-ups on Tyler, and like you could also kind of see it in his eyes. It's just crazy to me how like I feel like who's the person who plays Tyler? Michael Trevino, that's his name.
Yeah.
I think he did a great job.
I think, yeah, he does do a really great job in this episode.
Yeah.
So we cut to the Salvatore house where Klaus is joining Damon for a drink because Damon is still like day drinking. It's like noon at this point. Are you good, man?
They're all just drinking.
And he's wondering where Rebecca is. Brian,
okay, so
can we
here's
talk about your notes of how we probably don't need this scene?
Here's what happened. So in between where Tyler came in to join them for lunch, they had this like really, really small scene with like Klaus and Damon, and then cut back. So I was just trying to figure it out.
I know. I like how you say we probably don't need this scene, as though any of these scenes are necessary. Like there's
yeah, I was like, well, it's like Klaus is here, great. Now what?
Basically, Klaus reveals to Damon that Stefan stole his whole family, and Damon's like, man, I would love to find him, but I don't fucking work for you. And Klaus knows that Damon is drinking vervain, and that he obviously, like, he could kill him, but he's gonna be the one to get him what he wants. So to make himself clear, he's like, well, I know only what you respond to is displays of violence.
This is gonna end well.
So Klaus makes a call, and he tells the person on the other end of the line to do it.
I think he kind of says, get on with it.
Get on with it, or like, hey, you know that thing we talked about? Do it.
Like, at this point, I thought he was talking to Tyler.
I thought he was as well. But then you cut back to the Gilbert house, and you see that Jeremy's the one on the phone. He gets off the phone.
And then you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And Tyler also gets up to leave, and Elena and Alaric are worrying about Tyler now having access to their home. And they look back, and Jeremy's gone, and he's left his ring on the table, and he's standing just in the middle of the road. As they watch, a car comes barreling down towards them, and Alaric pushes Jeremy out of the way at the last second, and then Alaric gets hit by a fucking car. Gets absolutely bodied by this car, driven by Tony the hybrid.
Oh, poor Tony.
Thankfully, Alaric was wearing his ring, so that's good. He'll be back eventually.
I thought he was dead.
He would be dead if he was hit by a human.
But also, technically, the car is the thing that killed Alaric.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I thought he was dead, because it's like, this doesn't feel like that much of a supernatural occurrence.
Like, I know it was driven by a supernatural person, but it's still just like a car.
Yeah, but I think it's just like it's because it was driven by a supernatural person that it's like loophole.
I guess. Jeremy reveals that Klaus was on the phone, and Elena's like, well, where's your fucking vervain? Why aren't you on vervain anymore? Where's your bracelet? And Jeremy looks down and he realizes that he doesn't have it.
Yep.
So he was compelled by Klaus.
Uh-oh.
At Klaus's new mansion, he's playing some HGTV. He's like, hey, let's remove this wall. Let's open it up. I want sunlight. I want a fortress, not a dungeon. Tyler walks up to sort of like have a chat with him. And he reveals to Tyler that it was Alaric that was hit, but the message was received all the same, that Jeremy should have been the one to get hit. And Tyler was like, I thought it would just be like a warning. But Klaus is like, no, it needed to be effective. It needed to be violent for it to be a message. And so he gives Tyler some advice about how human life is a means to an end. Our means to an end.
The way he regards human life scares me.
Yeah.
He's the villain, so good.
He's like, fuck you, humans.
Like,
yeah, he's really...
That's a good villain.
That's a good villain. It's a good villain. Back at the Gilbert house, Elena and Damon pieced together that it was Tyler who got Jeremy off of the ravine, and Damon tells him that Klaus wants them to find Stefan and the 4 coffins. And while Damon wants to get the coffins back, Jeremy says that they should run, and none of them will make it out of Mystic Falls alive. Which, correct.
Yeah.
Statistically, Jeremy, you are correct.
That hurt, though.
Yeah, statistically, none of them are going to make it out alive out of this.
Like, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but also, sometimes ignorance is bliss.
He's not wrong, man. And he knows it. And so Elena believes that if they give Klaus back Rebecca, maybe he'll sort of call it off and back off for a little bit. But Damon says that once Rebecca is awakened, she'll want to kill Elena. With good reason. In case you forgot, last episode Elena stabbed her in the back for what exactly, folks? For what?
We all know why. For the
Literally,
we all know why, but it was the least reason that you would have to stab an original. You know? I know why, but also very shaky reasoning there. If Rebecca wakes up, it's going to be bad news for Elena. However, Elena has a little light bulb goes off in her head. She realizes that Bonnie was having that dream with 4 coffins. So she gives a call to Bonnie, and she's trying to get Bonnie to help. Bonnie's like, I don't want to be involved in this, and that you shouldn't get involved in it either, Elena. However, she says that Klaus has already tried to kill Jeremy, and upon hearing this, Bonnie's like, fine, what do you need me to do? I know where Stefan is, what do you need me to do? So I like that she still got on board as soon as Jeremy got hurt.
Yeah, I just love how Bonnie's like, no, don't get involved. And then she's like, Jeremy, it's like, oh, damn it.
I guess. So, cut to the witch house, where Elena and Damon show up. But hey, spoiler alert, the witches still hate Damon.
Yeah.
That's not really a spoiler alert. That's more like a, thank God they still hate him.
That's just a fact that the witches still hate Damon. And so, as Elena goes inside the house to go down to the basement and come face to face with Stefan, and she tries to reason with Stefan to give Klaus his family back, and Stefan's like, no. But Elena continues to plead with him, like trying to call into like her fears for Jeremy's life, but Stefan refuses again, and so she slaps him and tells him to go to hell.
Which, I am a huge Elena fan. We know this.
He deserved
it.
He most definitely deserved it.
Just again, Nina and fucking Paul fucking killing it yet again.
They're just so good.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking are. And I hate it here because I love this. I hate everything about this.
So Elena storms out of the house, and Damon's like, I'll talk to Stefan. Take my car keys, go back and deal with Jeremy. I'll deal with Stefan. Go deal with your brother, I'll deal with mine.
That was
Damon
a nice line.
Speeds inside, and he is still getting burned by the sunlight coming through everything, but he still, grabs Stefan, rushes him outside, and then stabs him so that Stefan will tell him why he ruined the plan.
Yeah. He's like, this is for ruining the plan. Stab.
And Stefan reveals that he did it to save Damon. And he says that Klaus was still always one step ahead. And Damon, again, he echoes a line that I think he said a few times before of like, stop saving me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He said this first season?
Probably.
First or second season?
It's kind of nice knowing that Damon's like, hey, I'm not worthy of being saved, so stop trying.
And like, it's good that he's self-aware of that.
Yeah.
But is he self-aware of literally anything else?
Nope.
No.
No.
So, that happens. In the woods, Jeremy confronts Tyler, trying to figure out why Tyler got him off of the ravine. And Tyler says that he didn't know that Klaus was going to try and kill him. But, like, no fucking shit, Tyler. Hey, Tyler, he's the bad guy. You know this. Like, but fucking shit he's going to try and kill Jeremy.
It's like... He's so blinded by loyalty, obviously. And, like, there's literally nothing he can do to stop that. But also, you're being such an idiot.
Like, warn a bitch first.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something, tell them. Like what he was trying to do for Caroline,
Yeah.
Yeah, where was that energy for Jeremy?
I know.
Exactly. So Jeremy, rightfully so, shoots an arrow at him and tells him to stop following Klaus blindly. And Tyler warns him that Klaus won't stop until he gets all of his coffins back.
Yikes.
Eek. So
this is gonna end perfectly fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Everything's gonna be fine. Alaric wakes up from his death. Good job. However, shit goes wrong. He starts to cough up blood. Usually, he's perfectly fine once he comes back from the dead. This time, however, he's got internal bleeding.
Yeah.
Just love like, yeah, he's got internal bleeding. What?
I mean, listen, shit happens, man. So Elena calls paramedics, but as they are about to get him out of there, Tony shows up, the hybrid, compelling them to leave. And he offers up his blood in exchange for Elena inviting him inside, and he says that Klaus is not going to stop until he gets his family back. However, Tony gets shot by Jeremy.
Oh my god.
And Jeremy shoots him in the back and drops Tony, and then he goes inside and grabs a meat cleaver, and then he rushes back to Tony and chops off his head.
Yeah, and this is what he says. He says he isn't dead yet. And when he said that, I was like, oh, he was referring to Alaric, so that they have to get him out of the house. But then he picked up the meat cleaver and just chopped off his head. I was like, oh, he was referring to the hybrid. Oh my gosh.
And then he and then he chops this man's head off.
And Elena's just standing there like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Jeremy's like, come on, we got to get Alaric to the hospital. Let's go.
And, like, it's at that moment you're like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go for Jeremy. Because, like, he just, like, imagine being so desensitized to the idea of chopping someone's head off.
But also, like, this is good for Jeremy in terms of, like, he can defend himself.
Yeah.
He's sort of stepping into the role, sort of almost like the Alaric role of being the vampire hunter as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's very good for Jeremy. And I don't know why nobody else thinks it is.
I think it's a good thing for him. But it is kind of scary because he is so young. And he has to do this at such a young age.
Yeah, he's defo gonna need, like, so much therapy.
Yeah. So, like, I think that's the scary part about it.
But they all do.
That's true. That's true.
You know.
And I think it kind of also hurts for Elena, because, like, she doesn't want to see her brother do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that leads to Elena making some weird decisions.
Yeah.
So they are rushing Alaric to the hospital to save his life because the ring brought him back, but it didn't heal him this time. So back at the witch house, Damon is like trying to still puzzle up what's going on with Stefan. He figures out, he and Stefan have a conversation where, they reveal that Klaus's family is his weakness, and Stefan believes that there's probably another way to kill Klaus. And Damon's like, well, I mean, if you're going to do that, I want in. But this new rowdy boy Stefan is like, no, I work alone. And Damon's like, no, you don't. Not with this, not with me. So, he persists, and then Stefan's like, fine, but Elena stays out of it.
Do you remember in the beginning of this season when Stefan was trying to do things on his own, and then Catherine was like, hey, I don't think you're good enough to do this on your own. And then Stefan was like, no, I'll be fine. And then he wasn't fine?
Yeah.
Do you think that'll happen again?
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
Okay.
100%. I think it does actually happen again.
Most definitely.
He's like, I can do it on my own. No, Stefan, you can't.
No, Steph, you really can't, bud. So, they go into the house, and this time, the witches don't hate Damon because they're on the same side.
Yeah.
And so they go down to the basement, and Damon doesn't see anything at first. And then Steph is like, look again. And the coffins are being cloaked by the witches, so that even if Klaus comes into the house, he won't be able to find them.
Which is actually very cool.
Genius.
Yeah, very
It
good.
really is. Hide them in the one place. And like hide them in plain sight, basically.
But also so much like a place where witches don't also don't want him to be in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Like a PowerPoint, like a place of witches' power is very good.
Yeah.
At the hospital, Alaric is somehow alive and up and back and good to go, and a Dr. Meredith Fell shows up and asks him, like, hey bud, maybe chill the fuck out a little bit. This Alaric got supernaturally healed by Damon, by the way, who must have stopped by the hospital to offer him vampire blood, and then now he's just like good to go.
Yeah.
This is the same actress from Pretty Little Liars, and that's
Tori DeVito. And couple fun facts for you. This is actually at the time Paul Wesley's wife.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah. They were married.
Huh.
Now divorced. But and another fun fact, Meredith is a character from the books, and she is actually the last character from the books to make an appearance in the show.
Wow.
But fun fact, she was not a doctor, nor an older woman. She was a teenager who was in love with Alaric.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh.
And also her name was Meredith Sules.
Not as fun as Meredith Fell.
Yeah, no. Go Meredith, finally making that appearance.
Thank you for not making her a teenager.
I know.
Thank you for making her like a competent doctor.
Because it was originally, because Caroline originally was everyone hated Caroline in the books.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Meredith, Bonnie, and Elena. And like stuff like that, I guess, for some reason. I don't know what happened in this book. There's so much happens. I'm just so confused. But like basically, like I think they said they were gonna have Meredith in the beginning, decided against it, and then I remember like reading an interview somewhere that they said when they brought Meredith in, it would be a game changer. I feel doesn't happen. Don't worry. There's no game changing.
But there is a game changer a little bit.
Kind of, yeah, actually a little bit. So they weren't quite
There is
wrong.
a game changer.
But I was kind of expecting something a bit more like Oh, wait a minute.
Here's
Actually,
the thing, though. It is a little
Wait, no, I just remembered what. Never mind. I lied. It is game changing. I lied.
It is game changing.
I lied. I lied. Jordan, ignore that.
Jordan, just ignore everything Brian says about the books.
Yeah, just ignore the books.
I don't even know what's going on. I'm lost.
Good. Anyway, Tori DeVito, glad you're here.
Happy for you. At the Salvatore house, Elena meets with Klaus, saying that she was unable to find Stefan, but she has something else. She leads him to Rebecca to strike a new deal to stop Klaus from killing Jeremy. So, there's our new deal, folks.
Mm-hmm.
After the Great Depression, this is it.
Don't kill my brother, please.
I mean, honestly, it kind of feels fitting.
Yeah.
It does. Elena's making deals. This is another one of those deals that Elena makes with an original brother that like is a good thing, but everybody hates her for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because reminiscent of the deal she made with Elijah in season 2, early season 2, right? Where she made a deal with Elijah and everybody was like, no, fuck you. She's like, no, this is a good deal, y'all. Y'all are just dumb. Same thing is gonna happen here. I will tell you that.
Okay.
So, she asks basically that he control Rebecca and stop Rebecca from killing her. Good ask, Elena. Good. I'm glad you put that little stipulation in there, because otherwise you would be straight up dead.
Yeah.
So good job for you putting in that little asterisk in the very last part there. It's like, don't let Rebecca kill me, please. Thank you.
She's like, please don't kill my brother and have your sister not kill me. Thank you. Goodbye. It's the party kept on the way out.
Klaus knows that Elena's lying to him about Stefan's whereabouts, except I don't think she is at this point. I don't think she really knows where Stefan is or what he's up to either. I think she knows vaguely, but she doesn't know a lot. So he says that Elena has a short list of loved ones, but Elena refuses to be involved in the Klaus and Stefan fight. And he's like, that's okay. Sure. Yeet. And so she tells him that Rebecca knows the truth about what he did to their mother. Because if you forgot, Klaus killed their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved Klaus's face when Elena told him that. He was like, oh, fuck.
He's like, I'm in trouble
he has
now.
a real oh shit expression.
It's great. Joseph Morgan, you beautiful man. Also, I really want to say, him and Nina acting against each other is actually really good. Like, I loved this, like, little scene, honestly. Like, it was, like, really cool to kind of see Elena taking charge again and just driving that Elena train, basically.
I think it's great when Elena takes any type of charge. I really like when women have their own agency in media that I watch, you know?
Back at the Gilbert house, Elena and Damon are cleaning up the dead hybrid. Elena's trying to wash her hands of all the blood. Oh wait, no, we skipped a scene.
We did? Oh, the hospital. That's a short one.
As Alaric and Jeremy are leaving the hospital, they wonder why the ring didn't fully work. But, all that aside, Alaric just is like, hey, Jeremy, level with me. Are you okay? Jeremy's like, this is just the way things are, and that I have to get used to it.
It's so sad.
And don't worry, that ring tidbit will be a secret mousecatool for later.
Yeah, it will be.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a very dangerous secret mousecatool.
I don't think Jordan's ready.
I think I kind of know what happens. Not fully, but I kind of.
No, you don't.
Shut up. You know nothing.
You don't. Like, if you think you know what happens with that ring, so did I. But then some other wild shit happened. Like, maybe I don't actually know what happened.
Yeah, no, Jordan, it's honestly, and I hate to say it, this is the best that Alaric is ever. Like, the best. Like, we will see some good-ass shit from Matt Davis.
Fuck Matt Davis.
Yeah, we didn't say fuck Matt Davis yet.
It's implied.
But, like, remember, fuck Matt Davis.
Fuck Matt Davis. I know it's implied, but we do have to very explicitly say that he's a shitty person.
Yeah.
So we head over now to the Gilbert house, where Elena and Damon are cleaning up that dead hybrid, and Damon asks how Elena's doing, and he's like, everything's gonna be okay. And she says that she made a deal with Klaus and gave him Rebecca. And Damon's worrying, but she's like, hey, it'll be okay. Jeremy shouldn't be involved in this, and that I have to find a way to fix it. Which I don't think you do now.
But I think that's very Elena of her, to want to try and fix it.
Yeah, it is. But I also do very much worry about the lengths she'll go through to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Back in Klaus's HGTV dream house, he's chatting at Rebecca because she's still dead, but
slowly waking up.
You can see like her fingers start to twitch and everything. He's like, this is, I'm sorry, but we will meet again one day. And then he puts the dagger back into her heart.
I just, we were so close to getting her back.
We were so close. And yet, so far. And then we come to sort of the end of this episode here. Yeah. Where Alaric and Elena watch on as Jeremy gets compelled by Damon to go stay with some family friends in Denver. Basically, he is going to leave Mystic Falls behind and never think twice about it. And he tells Jeremy to have a better life.
It's really sad.
It's wild, but also, Elena, this historically has not worked out great for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last few times,
but every single
not
time
worked out great.
Every single time she does it, I'm just like, I get it. That's her little brother.
Yeah.
But at least this time they told Jeremy what they were doing.
And then they compelled him to forget all of it.
I can kind of see why they're telling Jeremy why they're told Jeremy, like why they're doing this, because they know, like, for 100%, Jeremy would never leave Mystic Falls willingly.
Yeah.
He would he'd be like, "Oh, Elena and Bonnie are in trouble. Gotta go." If he doesn't know anything about what's happening in Mystic Falls, it's best that he's just gone.
But also, he was just shown to be very competent at killing the hybrids.
Very
so
true.
It's like, it's wild to me that Alaric got on this plan.
I'm actually
That's
not
the kind
to
of
me.
wild part to me.
Not to me. I don't think so. I don't think it's that wild, because I
Really?
feel like even if Jeremy is competent enough to like take care of himself and kill these hybrids, I think both Alaric and Elena are coming from the same place of not wanting to put Jeremy through that. They don't, because he is so young, and they just don't think he should have to deal with that, right? I think it comes from more of like not whether or not you're able to do it, but more like of a protection thing. Similar to like how I think in season 2, like Elena would be left out, like out of a lot of stuff, or a lot of things would kind of be like taken away from her from like Stefan or Damon, because they were trying to protect her. So like I get it from like a protection way. I don't necessarily agree with it, but like I understand like why they both agreed to do this.
I mean, yeah, but it's also it's just wild to me that Elena's like, he's only 16 years old, while she's out here being only 17 years old.
Yeah.
18.
Like
18,
she was
18,
the
yeah.
she was the same age as Jeremy as Jeremy is now at the start of the series, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like,
And maybe that also is a part of the reason why she did it, you know? Like
okay.
maybe she's like, "Oh, I went through all this and I didn't like it. And like I don't want my little brother to do that, you know?" I feel like she's like just a very protective older sister. And like
Yeah.
like I don't necessarily think it's like a good thing for Jeremy to do that, because I feel like he should be able to make his own choices. But I get it, you know?
But also, like, then they should have given Jeremy the choice to
Yeah. No, they definitely should have
leave or
given him a
not.
choice. Yeah.
Like
It definitely is
it's
not a good like I understand it, but also it's like not a good way to do it.
we're back in like Elena Gilbert's memory erasing Emporium here.
Yeah.
Like she just does this shit willy-nilly. Like, girl, a little bit of agency for everybody, a little bit of bodily autonomy for everybody here. But no, it's Emily. Fucking Jesus Christ! I said Emily Gilbert. Jesus, who am I? I'm tired. I want to take a fucking nap.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. So Stefan and Bonnie, back at the witch house, investigate one of the coffins, and they are unable to open it. And Stefan's like, he's tried everything. He's tried fire. He's tried crowbar. He's tried everything. Which
He's tried
means
nuclear warhead.
exactly. Which means Bonnie kind of draws the conclusion that means there's a spell put on it. And while Stefan is sort of just like, we can try the other ones. They open up just fine. Bonnie's like, no. This one. This one is the important one then.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back to the Gilbert house, where Elena feels horrible for what she did, worrying about the consequences of compelling Jeremy, which you really should have thought these through beforehand. I'm glad you're having this conversation now, but maybe a little bit of forethought?
Yeah.
But she thanks Damon for everything he's done. She's, he tells her that Stefan ruined the plan to kill Klaus just to save Damon. Elena's like, what does that mean? And fucking hell. Damon's like, I shouldn't have to feel guilty anymore for wanting what I want. And he starts to walk away, but then he turns back and he says that if he's gonna feel guilty about something, he's gonna feel guilty about this. And he rushes back and kisses Elena.
Entirely uncomfortable throughout the entire scene is how I felt.
Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Hi.
I can tell you want to say something.
I like this scene. Listen. I hate myself for liking it, but I like it because it's just that epic romance kind of thing that reminded me of Stelina a little bit, and I will admit it was weird. It is a little weird that he just kisses her like that.
Not only does he kiss her, the phrase of I shouldn't feel guilty for wanting what I want.
Yeah, but
It's bad.
I know, but
Not good.
I like it. And I remember even watching this last night and being like, "Oh, I like this." And then immediately after the episode ended, I was like, "V and Jordan are gonna hate this." Like, I knew. I was like, "Should I say anything?" Because I tweeted about it last night. I was like, "They're gonna hate this."
I can kid you not, got up from my seat and was like pacing to try to ease my uncomfortableness.
See, I'm just a sucker for those like epic romance declarations of love and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
go on the record now.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3 Delena is the best. It's my favorite. I love the we shouldn't, the whole like we can't do this, we can't have feelings for each other kind of thing. Like I just love that. And I hate to say it, Nina and Ian do have some chemistry this season. Some. It's like a boiling point, but not like not enough to get a reaction. But like it was just a good scene, and it was like Damon wasn't being unbearable. Like he was actually kind of being like, "Hey, what do you need? What do you need me to do?" Basically, kind of thing. But then he kissed her, and it was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, this is admittedly, I think Damon goes on a little bit of a run here with these last 3 episodes, basically, where he has been the most bearable he has been all season for me,
Yes.
and all series. I think I said that last episode, but like, this is the most bearable and this is the most open to Delena I've ever been,
Yeah.
and I still, with this scene, I was like, okay, yeah,
Same.
sure, why
Yeah.
not?
Like, same reaction where it's like, yeah, okay, I get it, but also not here for it.
Yeah.
There
I
is
was just like, I mean, it's
another.
gonna happen anyway, and I might as well
Yeah.
just sort of sit back and try and enjoy it.
Yeah.
See
And I
for me.
try. I do not, but I attempt. The attempt is there.
See for me, I don't like Delena because I'm Selena all the way. Like I love Stefan and Elena, but
I
like
just don't like their Delena's dynamic at all.
I would have liked it more if Damon was less of a dick
Yeah.
and an idiot
Cause
and a
Correct.
murderer.
here's the thing. I am here for a good like little enemies to lover type twist. I'm not against it, all right? But there has to be like the guy cannot be that much of a dick. If he's
Yeah.
like in the beginning the worst, there has to be like some sort of like major redemption arc to make me like him enough to be like, all right, cool. I'm okay with
And Damon's never had that major redemption. Like, we talk about how his character growth is so slow.
Yeah.
And it's not there. And it's at this point, like, it's not developed enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, no. Elena, who has shown to like the hero, would at this point like Damon. It just hasn't, I don't know, it hasn't shown to me yet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like he's had enough good character growth outside of doing things for Elena to
Yeah.
make it good.
Yeah.
You know?
And like
I
especially like I feel like a good part of like the whole enemies to lovers twist if the guy is like a dick is that there are like certain moments that you see in that person where you're like, oh, they're not just a dick. There's like a little bit more to them. There's not a little bit more to Damon. He's just a dick.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that really ruins Delena for me, it's not actually Damon and Elena. It's the fandom.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't even talk about fandom on this
No.
show near enough because it is just a garbage fire,
It's
far and
gross.
large.
Yeah. If
And
I
we
had not
should continue to just not
Talk
talk
Yeah,
about
about
it.
it.
I'm just gonna say this. Like, had I not like really been so involved in the fandom and just watched the show as it is, and let the fandom like kind of like tweak my mind, saying like you shouldn't like them because this like all that other like stupid bullshit, I probably would have liked Damon and Elena
And
much more.
here's another thing I will admit to. Okay? Never watched the Vampire Diaries, but I did know of Delena because it was a lot on my Tumblr feed. So I like watched their scenes. I was like, oh, they're kind of like cute or whatever. Without context, they're maybe
Yeah.
okay.
No context, Delena is okay.
But when you have
On
context,
it.
you're like, absolutely not. Sorry, I can't be here for it. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
it's also so funny to me because like the way the trope in which they have put Delena together in, they will do better later in the series.
Mhm.
They'll take a second run at a relationship that's sort of like Delena, and they will do it 1,000 times better later. Like, I understand this was your training wheels session. You know, this was your
Yeah.
first try rehabbing a villain and making him good and falling in love with the main character or whatever. But they do it so much better the next time around.
Mhm.
Brian, you know what I'm talking about. And folks who
I
have
think
watched
I
all of
do.
TVD, you know what I'm talking about. They do it much better the next time around. It's just real funny to me.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
hey, Jordan.
oh wait, I have one more thing to say.
Yeah, what's up?
How dare you?
I
I was
just
trying
like
to segue.
I really miss the cliffhangers, if I'm being honest. Like,
Yeah, there's been a couple of episodes where there haven't been any cliffhangers.
there's been a good amount this season where like it just ends and there's no cliffhanger. I'm like, where are the cliffhangers? Where's the way to get me intrigued for the next episode? Like, where is that from the first 2 seasons? I need that. Please.
Yeah, what is, like, okay, Ghost World had one. Ordinary People also sort of had one. Homecoming was pretty good. This one just doesn't have like a cliffhanger at all.
It just ends and you're like, okay.
It just kind of ends with like Damon and Elena being all like,
And I'm
"Mwah."
like, I didn't start watching this show for it to end like this. Please get back to the cliffhangers.
Yeah, because
like,
now
"Mwah,
it's
mwah,
like,
mwah."
okay, how did you lead me back in? How did you lead me into episode 311 Our Town?
Yeah,
Like, how did you lead me into this? You didn't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Especially because this is
Wild.
the first episode you come back after mid-season, right? Or is this the
Yeah,
mid-season?
this was our first episode back after the mid-season.
Yeah, so like, y'all, what are you doing?
Where am I now? I am adrift at sea with nothing to anchor me and nothing to drive me to the next episode.
Just like not good in that sense.
Yeah, that's fair. So hey Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
what are you ranking episode 310, The New Deal?
All right, so I said this earlier. Felt very meh throughout the
Felt
episode.
pretty meh, yeah.
Moments I liked. Jeremy getting compelled, that kind of hurt, and like in a sad good way.
Yeah.
Bonnie like having her little dream sequences, and like I just love that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with Bonnie is like really a good time.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I was like, I miss Jenna, I wish she was here, you know. um the little thriller scene in the beginning with Elena running, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, everything was kind of like eh. Again, and also there was no cliffhanger. It started off kind of strong with the whole Bonnie dream sequence and then Elena's thriller sequence, but after that it kind of fell in the middle. And I don't know, it just wasn't like the best episode. It was like an okay episode, but also wasn't bad, you know?
Yeah,
So,
it was okay.
and an okay episode for me that like is not really bad but also not the best is like probably around the 6 or 7.
Okay,
Does it,
so what are you giving it?
um I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5. Okay. Brian, what are you giving The New Deal?
Oh boy, because when I watched this last night to do all the notes, I remember I was actually thoroughly enjoying this episode, and I remembered how much I actually enjoyed like this little middle part of the season 3. So,
Mm-hmm.
had the stakes been higher,
Mm-hmm.
it would be probably like a 9.5.
Yeah.
But
However,
I'm gonna go 8 purely because like solid episode, like very, very good.
mm-hmm.
I just kind of wish the stakes were amped up a little bit. Huh, stakes.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I definitely feel that. I
just a little
definitely
bit
get
more.
that. It
It's
was a
missing
weird way to come
something.
back.
Yeah.
It was a weird way to come back. And I don't know, like it was okay. I'm gonna give it a 7 just because like it was good, I
Yeah.
guess. in apps, if it wasn't good, then it wasn't not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it
exactly
wasn't
how I
bad,
felt.
and it wasn't middle of the road. It was a little bit more than middle of the road.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, like, I have to look at what I gave the episodes previously to it. Like, wow, what a come down, because from The Reckoning till now, like the last 5 episodes, I gave it a 10, a 9, a 10, a 9.5, and a 10.
Yeah.
So to come down from that run to give this a 7, it's just like, I understand that you can't keep the tension up for so long because eventually it has to break. However, maybe this is the start of them building some new tension. I don't know. Either way, it felt like a little bit of like a reset, kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of seeds planted in this episode, like the whole Delena tension, the whole Alaric's ring, Klaus and his family.
Yeah, they definitely are planting seeds, I will say.
Yeah. They're planting seeds, and Julie Plex in that garden, like going, heave, ho.
What do you think gardening is?
You take a hoe and you hit it in the ground and you scrape.
Okay, so you're not entirely wrong, but
thank God.
Yeah, y'all, that's it for this episode. Join us on Friday.
MVP.
Oh, right, MVP. I almost forgot. I'm sorry. I scrolled over a little bit on the spreadsheet, so I didn't see it. Who's the MVP for this episode, gang? I know. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Delena.
No, absolutely not.
I want to say Elena.
I also want to say Elena.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Just purely because, like, she did get shit done.
Yeah, she did. She got shit done. She made a deal. She was out here wheeling, dealing,
ensuring Jeremy was
her
safe.
Little brother. Yeah, exactly.
Ensuring that Jeremy would be safe and in Denver.
And just away from here. Oh, man. Do you think Stephen R. McQueen asked for a little break? Or
probably.
Maybe.
Was this just them going, we can't pay you right now, so join us next time for episode 311, Our Town. That's not a musical name, right? Our Town isn't a musical.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. For some reason, it sounds to me like something musical related, but I'm probably
I know there's
wrong.
Our House, that song in the middle of
Our house. In the
copyright.
middle
Copyright. Copyright. Oh my God.
Copyrighted for that? Fuck off. If I get copyrighted for that, for my mumble singing, get out of here. Join us next week, y'all. We'll be back. Until then, you can find us on Twitter at AfterBitePod or on anchor.fm/AfterBite to subscribe to us on any of your podcatchers of your choosing, or just, tell us that we're fucking wrong and that Delena's actually the greatest ship to come out of TVD. You'd be wrong, but you can say that.
You're so wrong if you say that. Sorry, but you are wrong.
You're wrong, but you can. I can't stop you. I can't show up in your house and just knock your phone out of your hand and then just say, don't. I can't do that.
Yeah, we can't show up in your house because we're social distancing.
We are social. I would be wearing a mask in this scenario, and I would knock your phone out of your hand with a 6-foot pole arm.
Yeah.
So I would be good. Your phone would be broken, but I would be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for this week, y'all. Stay inside, stay safe, and wash your fucking hands. Wear a mask.
Defund the police.
As a critical first step to eventually abolishing the police.
Exactly.
Y'all, we can just get that down. I swear to God, we can.
We can. We'll find a way to work it in.